What's going on? Welcome to the next video on how to draw. And this time I'll be drawing the full body. And I know I've been getting a lot of requests on how to draw the full body muscles. And I think I had a few videos like that. I'm not sure. I don't remember. It's like 100 something videos ago. So I decided to make a new one that show it more detail. I think the other ones I had were speed draws, and this one will be one that's more at a normal speed. And for this, you see at the start, I had my basic pose using a bunch of different shapes to find the pose and measure out to get the whole body on the paper. And there's no need for me to do a tutorial on that, showing the process of drawing all the shapes, because I have plenty of videos that has different shapes and how to do that. So I decided to start this one with the shapes already there, and I'm going to show mainly how to create the muscles and draw the muscles on the figure. So right now I'm starting out with the head, and typically for a pose like this, I found this on Pinterest, but there were a lot of different pictures that you found on Pinterest that has the forward view, forward musculatures and things like that. And a lot of the ones that I've seen weren't the ones that I liked. So I chose this one. I think I've had a bunch of pictures before and I didn't want to use the same picture. So I chose this one, and this one shows the muscles pretty accurate. I think this is probably something that's done in ZBrush from somebody. And even still on the side that I'm doing now, I'm still drawing the muscles in my own style, but using that as a reference guide for where to place certain muscle groups. So as you see, drawing muscles is more about finding the big shapes and overlapping those shapes to create the muscles. So like you see now, I started out with the head and I drew the shoulders in, and I'm kind of just rounding out and finding all the curves and creases to form the muscle. And it's also good to have a basic general knowledge of anatomy when drawing this. I've drawn a lot of different musculature characters over time to have a vast knowledge of drawing certain anatomy in different positions. So even though I'm using it as more of a guide, I'm not really looking at it or depending on it when I'm drawing it, because I'm trying to create it more in my style. I think even though I have it, the characters is looking fairly skinny, and the one I'm drawing now is going to be more of a heavier build. So you see I'm just following the guides that I already have there with the shapes that I've created earlier that I erased, and I'm just drawing over it, creating all the muscles, and I'm resizing some of the areas because I think the shapes I had before may have been too small, so I'm just making it bigger since it's erased already, the one I had before, and I'm just going over it with the muscles. And I can still erase these also as well to create the size that I want. And right now I'm just overlapping and placing different areas and trying to define where those muscles are and how they relate to each other. And now for the purpose of this video, I'm drawing all the muscles almost like as if he's super ripped, even though those are the type of characters I like to draw anyway. And typically when you're drawing these type of characters, depending on if it's a superhero or something like that, the muscles aren't as defined or ripped like that. You're kind of more filled in, so it won't show as much detail. Depending on, I guess it depends on what you're drawing. For me, I like to draw different fighters and things like that, especially like dealing with like the Baki style and Street Fighter characters and stuff like that. But if you're doing like superheroes wearing spandex, then you're not going to really see all the detail in the muscles unless you're drawing the comic book superheroes where the musculature is over exaggerated through the spandex, which typically won't look like that in real life. I know they always say, oh, some characters don't follow anatomy in certain areas. Well, the comic book characters don't follow anatomy either, since the spandex, realistically you can't see ripped muscles through spandex. So if anything, that's not really accurate also. But of course you want to show big muscles to get those young views. You can get that. So right now I'm just going to add in all the detail I can add in to get that ripped body. So right now I'm working in all the shapes, all the big shapes first, and then dropping in detail as I go. I'm adding the leg muscles the same way as I do with the arms. I'm just finding those curves, getting in all different angles. And sometimes I'll work where I'm just like I'm creating an outline and then I'm filling the detail, or sometimes I could just draw the muscle straight off and start adding in detail as I go. But like right now, I just like how I kind of drew the big leg, and then I later on would add in that detail for the leg muscles. And it just takes a lot of practice. The more you practice drawing the pose, and the more it will stick into your head. Just take this and follow or watch the video from the beginning, and you can pause at the beginning and copy the exact body that I drew with all the shapes, and then that way you can just erase it and follow the rest of the video and just start adding in details as you go. But it all takes practice. You practice every day. If you have a hard time drawing it one day, just keep drawing the same pose every day with the straight pose until you eventually get it. So right now I'm just adding in the top of the chest, because right now I pretty much have the base of the figure here, and right now I'm just adding in all the details to define the shapes more, like with the shoulder and the other little head. I think the shoulder has about, I think in 3 heads, the front and the side and the back delt. I'm just adding in, darkening some of the lines and detailing it. And also the chest area, showing all the striations, the chest, everything from the chest comes straight from right from the underarm, between the biceps and the shoulders. It kind of almost like it links together. The rib cage is not really that hard with the rib cage. You're following the lats, and lats always it's kind of like a pattern when you're drawing those. And I know some people always get those confused. And it's really easy. You're drawing from the lat, and you're adding in those lines. It's kind of like you're underdrawing the line, creating the curves, you're overlapping the curves to create that rib cage. Adding in the abs. Dropping another part of the ab. I could have just drew the character straight through, but I had to add some underwear on it, because I don't know how the monetization would go for this type of video if I didn't add underwear. So I said, let me drop it on just in case, even though I'm not putting anything else under there, but I'll just drop it in there. I could have added shorts, but I didn't want it to be too long or too short, and I wanted to see the legs more, see those leg muscles. So right now I'm adding in the muscles for the legs, getting that in. And I will have a tutorial soon for drawing the full body from the back, and also do a side view. I wasn't gonna have them all in one video, but the video would be too long. I wanted to kind of shorten it a little bit. That way you can use it as a reference for, hey, you got one video for this, one video for that, rather than just going through and watching the whole video and stopping at certain points. I didn't want it to be too long. So right now I'm working in the feet, getting those curves for the foot. So I can draw it in the toes. And for the toes, it's not really that hard to draw feet when you're drawing it straight on. It kind of just it depends on the angle of the foot. I mean, the way I did it right now, you saw me, I'm just making circles, and then I'll just have the connecting of the foot go up into the foot, following the reference or based on your knowledge of it after you've drawn it a lot of times. And a lot of people like to avoid either feet or hands. I don't know why. But you have to be able to draw them to have it in your head and get that knowledge, that muscle memory, so you can draw them on your own without having to look at reference. You should get that big toe, all little toes, the creases on the foot on the top. There's always like a crease right there. Working the hands. I didn't want to put the hands in at first. I wanted to focus more on the body, but I decided to just throw it in there since I've already gotten this far with it. Adding in the thumb. Same method as before, making those 3 cylinders for the fingers. Or you can draw it straight out, depending on however way you want to do it. Some fingers going on the inside. since you can't really see the rest of the fingers because it's the way the camera is going, I'm just adding the fingers right on the side. For the other hand, repeating the same method, getting the wrist, the thumb, adding in the fingers. And it just takes time and practice. I mean, there's even ways to change it depending on the body shape. If you want to make this a heavier build, there are ways of doing that too. You can just erase the bottom half where the abs are and then make it rounder to create the heavier build. It's all based on however you want to do it. It's like you're molding clay, but you're using a pencil. Adding the calf muscle. Now, right now, I'm just shading in the trousers, adding in the cross hatching. And cross hatching for me is a faster way of filling things in, dealing with like shadows and filling in the solid areas. Or sometimes I'll use markers and then go over the markers with cross hatching also, which I'll also have in another video to show a demonstration of that. So right now I'm pretty much done. More likely just darkening shapes, darkening certain areas to define it more, trying to find any missing pieces of anatomy on the body that maybe I missed. And you can see that it's totally different from the reference because I made it based on my own style. I mean, it just shows that you can just use it more of a reference that you have and then just build on that, and you're creating, use your own style and follow it, and you have your anatomical pose in your style. But that's it for this video. We'll see more videos like this. Leave a comment down below, like, subscribe, and take care.